welcome to the Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff, and I am the owner of the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas.
My name's Becky, outgoing store manager at the Modern Skein. I didn't know what to say there, so I went with that, and that makes me sad.
Yes. So, yes. We will try not to get too emotional, but Becky is getting a very amazing opportunity to go forward in the camping career path forward, which is, you know what you went to school for, that minor detail. But she will be moving to Colorado to partake in that opportunity. So we are wishing her all the best, but we are selfishly kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, it's very much the same. It's the same in where I'm at. I'm very excited, but sad to leave at the same time. So
we're not going to dwell on it too much.
No, we're going to jump in with all of the projects and the yarn.
Yes. Yeah. So I will just say, don't worry, the podcast is not ending. We will figure something out. So, yes. Stay tuned. Finished objects. That's what we always do first. So, ta-da! I was going to say, it's too hot to wear it, but I'm freezing right now, and it's actually cool outside.
I didn't bring my finished object.
What?
Oh, my gosh. I was frantically packing this morning, and I'm like, I'm missing something. I don't know what it is. Let me throw some extra yarn in the bag just in case. No.
Mm-hmm. Well, she did finish the Easy V.
I did.
In the car on the way to DFW.
It was we stopped a couple of times for gas and for snacks along the way, and I finished it, a piece of it each chunk of the drive. So sorry, I completely just derailed you talking about yours.
No. So, I finished my Swancho. So cozy. So reminder, the yarn I used is a little bit of a mix. I did Chelsea Luxe for the tan and the darker brown, and then the gray blue is forged steel from Hedgehog Fiber, and then the main body color, which is this really pretty Tweety navy, is Moondrake in the colorway Grim. Yes, Grim. Yes. I had to think for a second because I always want to call it slate, but it's the wrong color. It's Grim.
Yep.
So I finished that. I finished a lot of things.
Yeah, you did. You had set yourself with some some intense finished object goals, and so you got there. It was good.
I did. So this is my rib lace Raglan from James and Watts, and it's so good. This is also in our custom color from Chelsea Luxe, which we did bring a few skeins. There's less than 10 of the single ply, and I think there's only 12 or 13 of the DK left. So there's a tiny bit left. Go on the website and purchase ASAP because it's such a good color.
And even though there's not a lot of the single ply left, I think it's also worth noting this does not use a lot of yarn.
So I did I want to say I did the 40-inch bust. I did the third size, whatever the third size is, which it is a little bit, I'll say, on the oversized fit for me. So this is kind of designed to be worn with negative ease. Mine's probably an inch to 2 inches of positive ease. It's actually closer to 2 inches of positive ease, totally. And this only used up, I joined my second skein here, this much. So it was if I weighed this, it would probably weigh 115 grams, I betcha. I think for the very largest sizes, which is over 60 inches, it only takes 3 skeins of fingering weight. So it's definitely, I don't know what magic happens, but it uses a lot less yarn.
Yeah. And I like that one because it's a very open knit. Mm-hmm. But, you wore it the last day of DFW, and it's you just put, a layer underneath it. And it looked so,
I just put,
it was not, overly, open.
Mm-mm.
I feel like there's some of them that I'm I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
it looks like it's one that you could easily layer and feel really good in.
So,
at least that's just me speaking.
No, totally. Because all I put underneath, you could totally just get away with a bralette, if you're so inclined. I put just like a tank top, but like a really, I don't want to use the word skimpy. That sounds weird. But like just a little spaghetti strap, thin, light tank top underneath it. Like I didn't feel like I needed a full-on tank top, if that makes any sense, which it really doesn't. But you could just as easily, this would look so cute if you popped it over like a white blouse or a black blouse. Has more of like a little slip over. You could just put it right over a t-shirt. You could do all sorts of things. You could also, honestly, this would be so cute if you did it out of like a linen cotton blend as like a swimsuit cover up. Do a little bit larger size. That would be super cute. Maybe make it even longer.
Yeah.
Or I like to wear like a top and like the pull-on pants, like when I'm doing a swimsuit cover up. I don't know why. I just do. I like the pants or shorts. That would be super cute.
Yeah.
Anywho, I know we're really not going into swimwear season for most of y'all that are watching, but put it on your list for next year for sure. But also, that being said, like with our climate, if you're in California, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, southern Gulf states, this would be a great layering item for as we kind of transition into, it's cool in the morning, but it's going to be blazing hot. So just stick a tank top underneath this, maybe pop a heavier sweater or a flannel on top, and then take that off as you go through your day. And that's still not going to be too heavy. So again, the pattern is Rib Lace Raglan by James N. Watts, in like the letter. So then my other finished object, I'm just powering through all these, is another minimalist cowl. Minimalist cowl. Minimalist. Inside joke.
We had a delightful spelling conundrum. And we learned that the way I helped to figure out spelling of things, the way I tried to describe spelling of it, makes zero sense to Sharon.
I was like, minimalist. It's not. I was like, it's not. I'm spelling it wrong. It's not coming up. And she just leans over and she goes, minimalist. And I'm like, that doesn't help.
As if that's supposed to just answer all of the questions, which it does in my head. But obviously not for everybody else. And now I got some weird looks from Sharon, and I can't remember who else was in the shop that moment, but they chuckled because, yeah.
But now I can't think of the word minimalist without going minimalist. So, not that it helps me with spelling anymore, but anywho. So, again, by Winter's Weather Knits is her Instagram and Ravelry name. And so this cowl comes in 3 sizes. Y'all know I knit, and so did Becky. We both knit the largest the first time.
I did the medium.
You did the medium.
Yeah.
I did the large the first time and gave it to a sample for Red Stag. It's originally knit in a strand of fingering and a strand of either Surrey or mohair held together, which is what I did, and I did the size large. Gorgeous, gorgeous one. Then Becky did the same thing but did the medium.
Yep. And
then I come back and did the small size but in just a single strand of DK. Just to change it up, And so this used up an entire skein of DK weight yarn. I will say I did not have enough yarn to do the full 14 decreases on the back. Or I guess it's 14 repeats of the decrease. But I did 8, and it's enough to not be like weird. So if you wanted to knit the full height of the cowl, which would probably be like another, like up to here, you would need a second skein of DK, or maybe if you have like 1.5 left over from a project, this is a great way to use it up.
I mean, you could color block that too.
Oh, easily.
Or almost take like and to like fade them. Ooh. Kind of like, it makes me think of like the blurry cowl, but you take that kind of
that idea. Definitely.
One moment.
Sorry. Okay. We're back.
Take 2.
So Minimalist, out of DK, super fun. This is the Chelsea Luxe yarn in the colorway Tin Can, one of our favorites. I think we did come back with just a couple skeins left. And it's just gorgeous.
It's a good colorway.
It is. Neutral, goes with everything, little pops of gold and all the fun things. Okay, and now I'm hot, so off to the side. So that's my finished objects.
Yes. My finished object, like we said, is the ECV. It is not here. There is photos of it on Instagram, I'm pretty sure, from us at the booth on the first day.
Yes,
so
wearing it together.
You can peep that finished object there.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
And then someone, bought some yarn at DFW and cast something on.
Immediately. Almost immediately. I think I had like maybe 45 minutes, and that's being optimistic, of willpower. and then I just opened up that skein and started winding it by hand.
I was pretty sure you just walked back and was like, yeah, it's $2 to have it wound over there. I'm going to hand wind it.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't even make it.
You didn't even make it over.
No, I just was like, I think also at that moment I was like, the kind of like mindlessness of the winding was kind of appealing.
True.
But yeah.
Yeah. DFW was super fun. So if you guys are finding us from DFW, it was awesome. Thanks so much for following us and for subscribing. Hopefully you subscribe anyway. And yeah. Super fun meeting all of you guys. There's tons of peeps, knitters and crocheters and crafters in general that came to DFW. Yes. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work, and I threw out my back on the last day. Great.
Yeah.
But it's all good now. Yeah. So why don't you share that fun thing?
So when we were headed to DFW, I had I wanted to take a look at everything because I had never been to a Fiber Fest like this before. I know. And so I was just excited to kind of go, but I had followed and seen on Instagram that Moondrake would be bringing her new base, Fua. And
it's just fun to say, for
it
one.
It really is. And I knew I had to go and see it at the show. And by the time I made it there, Rochelle of Moondrake said that she was already selling out of colors. And I was like, oh no, okay. Well, I need to buy it right now. And I did. I bought it right then and there. Also, leading up to this moment, I had seen and talked with a couple folks that were wearing the Souffle top, which
was very popular at DFW.
It was so good. And that kind of, it's one that I had seen come out and I really enjoyed the look of it, but I, just didn't have the impulse to cast on at that exact moment. But seeing it in person, I was like, oh no, this is cute. This is really cute. And knitted out of the cashmere silk blend, Fua, would be even cuter.
So, good news, because I'm pretty sure Rochelle sold out at DFW, so I don't even know if it's available on her website. But I talked with Rochelle, and we will be stocking, once she gets replenished of the base, we will be a stockist for Fua. So it might not be till, I hate to say this, next year. It sounds so far away, but it's almost October, y'all.
Yeah.
Seriously. But we will be getting in the Fua base if you want to touch and feel it for yourself.
Yep.
I will say, because it looks more like a Surrey alpaca than a mohair.
It's got more floof to it.
It's like a denser terms. It's a denser floof and not a wispy floof. If that makes sense. It feels softer than Surrey alpaca.
Yes. Especially in a knitted fabric. I feel like holding the skein, like, you're like, okay, that's comparable.
Mm-hmm.
But once you start to knit with it is where you really
see it. And it's like, it's a fuzzy and it's a halo, but it's still very compact to where it doesn't seem to be floofing and flying all over the place.
Yes.
It's very hard to describe this. It's technically what it is called a burnished cashmere fiber. And what they mean by burnished is more like what we would think of as like a rubbed or buffed kind of thing. And you think, what is it? It's basic. It's not felted, but it's not a full-on brushed either.
Yeah.
So like a mohair and stuff like that is typically like a brushed out boucle, typically is how it's actually made. This is not quite the same. It's like a rubbed, burnished cashmere is what it is. So it's burnished cashmere and merino for the core.
Yep.
And it's delightful.
Yeah. So it's technically listed at a fingering weight. I'm using it at a lace weight gauge without much issue. I think mine's going to be a little bit of a denser souffle. Just looking at it, because I think it's not going to be nearly as transparent in the single strand section as you would see in like the originals from Penrose and from a lot of the ones that I saw, where it is really and truly mohair, just very transparent up at the top.
Yeah.
But that being said, I feel like it's going to be extra cozy.
Yeah. It almost, by itself, it gives you the look of it being held double if it was mohair, if that makes
sense. You can kind of see that strand. There's...
Yeah. It's not as thick as like Melted Baby Surrey. But it is just the tiniest bit thicker than, say, Red Stag Fiber Castle Surrey or Odang.
Yeah.
It is thicker than that. Because those are truly lace weight Surreys. They're not a fingering weight. You can use them as fingering weight, but they're not. It gets kind of convoluted when in terms of floof and gauge, but...
So, yeah.
Yeah. What's the colorway of that?
This is Sage. So, yeah, I've got my souffle casted on. It's all bunched up, but I am in the round at this point. You work it flat at the beginning to create kind of a little, like, keyhole button closure at the back. And I think I've got at least, like, another inch to go on this before I get to kind of place my line for my ruffle. So, yeah.
Exciting.
New cast on.
Since we're on the subject of acquisitions at DFW,
Yes.
I told someone on, it was Saturday or Sunday, I was like, yeah, I didn't get anything the first day. And Becky's like, liar, liar, pants on fire. Because
No.
I literally did buy something the first day and cast it on that night. I just had blocked it from my memory.
I mean, to be fair, it was a rough one to wind, because she also sat down and wound it by hand in the booth.
I did.
But you might have blocked that from your memory, just because it was not an easy to wind one.
No, but it'll be fine.
Yes.
It'll be fine. So y'all know I love rustic wool. Love it. So the opportunity came about. The opportunity. I walked past this booth and saw it, stopped dead in my tracks, turned in, was like, Trudy, I need this yarn. So I snagged 4 skeins of nightshades. I've used nightshades before in my Northerny by Isabel Kramer, but this is a slightly different shade of black. This is called Dashboard, and it's very hard to see, but it has, you can kind of see it there. It has a really, like a bright navy blue spun into it. So in the sunlight, it reads as navy blue, but in any other light, it's basically black. Nightshades is kind of cool like that. They have nightshades and daylights, white base with the color or black base with the color. So I went ahead and cast on, I haven't worked much, but I got to figure out exactly what row I'm on, but I cast on the Understated by Joji Locatelli, which is actually going to be flipped around this way. This is the back. And it's her DK weight V-neck boxy. So it has a little bit of ribbing design here that's just going to be super subtle, and then have a nice V-neck in the front and be a nice oversized boxy. Mine won't have quite the drape that hers has because hers was done in a superwash, and this will be in a more rustic wool, but I love rustic wools, so that doesn't bother me. You can see I hand wound the ball. I will not be doing that for further balls, but it happens. And it's fine. So I snagged that from our friends up at U2 Yarns up in Waxahachie. So good. Love it. You know, maybe one day we'll stock some Harrisville. You know, I gotta stock what you guys will buy, but if y'all are also interested in non-superwash yarns, let me know, because I love good rustic wool. It's not scratchy, you guys. It's not. I promise. Next.
So this is one I made an internal bargain with myself on. I saw her share this colorway on Instagram leading up to DFW as one of her new fall releases, and I figured if it was still there on Sunday, I would buy a skein. So it was still there. This is Rosewood by Suburban Stitcher. This is on her sport base. I think I have a plan for it, but I'm not 100% sure. So I don't really have a plan for it. But it's just a really pretty rosy brown hue.
It's very nice.
It fell apart in my bag, so that's why it looks silly on the bottom of the skein.
That's all right. Speaking of bargaining with oneself, I also have this. I bargained with myself, but also kind of did it in my favor. So, Hill Country Weavers, if you guys are watching it, I apologize for reorganizing your booth. But the first day, I went and they had an entire rack of Spin Cycle.
Yeah, saw those unloading in like the loading dock next to ours, and I was like,
I was like, oh. And then, of course, then they trolley through like a whole thing of La Bien Ami and there's all this stuff.
Gorgeous.
So I went over there and I looked at their Spin Cycle and I was like, I don't need Spin Cycle. There's no pattern that has just been like, I've been thinking about an Alpenglow, but I was like, I'll do it in just sport weight. I won't use Spin Cycle. And then I happened to see this skein. So if y'all are familiar with Spin Cycle, they have a colorway called Lapis, but usually they're very purple heavy, and I'm not a big purple fan. But they had these two skeins of Dream State Lapis that are like all blue with a touch of navy. And it was only these two that were like this. Everything else was like the rest was super purple. So I took them all off their little peg, put the two that I wanted all the way in the back, and put the other skeins, still Lapis, not like trying to super hide it, but on top. And I figured if it sells, like if they go through all the Lapis, or if someone digs around just like I did and finds it, then it's not meant to be. Sunday, we went back over there with Kathy, and she was getting some yarn. She was like, I'm going to do an Alpenglow, and so she bought her first skein of Spin Cycle and everything. Now, granted, this is not the right weight for Spin Cycle, just to be perfect, or for Alpenglow. Just throwing that out there. But I dug around and I was like, oh, it's still here. So I went ahead and grabbed it. But then someone had rearranged their thing, and sitting right next to this was this. So, again, another classic color from Spin Cycle. This is Stay Ready. One of my favorites, which I have like a whole sweater's quantity of Stay Ready on Dream State at my house. But this was it on Dyed in the Wool, which is what you need for Alpenglow. And they had just two skeins left, so I also took this as well. Already wound it up, or one of them. And I really like this thing of Stay Ready because sometimes they're really dark. These are like really light.
There's a lot of balance, I feel like, in those skeins that it's...
I'm really pleased with it. So I am going to I'm going to. I already cast on. I do have to rip back a little bit and figure out my mistake. But I cast on an Alpenglow. So I'll go ahead and interject what I'm doing.
Yes.
So Alpenglow, if you remember, Becky test knit the Alpenglow 2. I'm casting on the Alpenglow 1. So slightly different, but the same. So my neckband color and cuff color is Hedgehog Fiber. This is not actually it.
She has a palette, and there's multiple projects that are using nearly the same yarn.
This is Hedgehog Fiber antique leather on sport weight. This is Moondrake Toffee, also in sport weight.
'Tis the season for sport weight.
This is a colorway called Sunflower from Chelsea Luxe. That's basically the same color that I also love, and I'm now thinking I want it in my MCal. Yeah, I'm rethinking my MCal colors. It's fine. Totally fine. It's fine.
We got time.
We got a whole week.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm using this as my neck color. Then I also got Fua Fua by Hedgehog. No, Fua Fua by Moondrake in the colorway Toffee. Haha.
There's the theme.
Because I went through the project pages on Alpenglow and I've seen several ladies who did almost the same color for their ribbing and that first contrast color into the plume or the fluffy stuff, and it looked so good. So that's exactly what I did. Yes, I get that there's less contrast. I don't care. It's what I like. So you can kind of actually see the contrast here. And then my main body color is going to be Hedgehog Fiber Sport Her Majesty's Navy with the Stay Ready blipped in.
It's going to be real good.
It's going to be super good. However, I have 28 extra stitches on here, and that's just too much to fudge. So I've got to back out. I did confirm, because last night I was like, I know how to do a lifted increase. I'm not going to watch this YouTube video. I did rewatch it this morning just to make sure I didn't have a total, and I did it correctly. So I must have just last night gotten off on my cadence of, how many I need to knit in between the increases really badly, and somehow ended up with extra stitches. I know. Hi.
That was my stomach gurgling. I don't know if that's going to come up in the audio. I'm real sorry.
You hungry?
I promise I ate breakfast.
I'm the one who didn't eat breakfast, 'cause I had to take my husband to the airport on the other side of Houston because we had It's fine. It's fine. Anywho, Alpenglow, I'm ripping it back. I'll post it. But yes. And yes. Color theme, much.
Uh-huh. Which is actually funny, knowing the other project that's in your bag. Because it's basically the same.
Hush. Okay, I'll get that one out. Where did I put it? Where's this?
Yeah. Well, you get that one out. I'll talk about this whip. Yeah. So, this one is a test knit. Obviously, it's me. A test knit that I'm behind on. Also, nobody's surprised. But this is the Dark Academia sweater.
It looks really good.
I feel like it's just a holy colorwork Batman. It's an all-over colorwork sweater. It was designed using Deep Sock from Murky Depths, who we had it for a trunk show this August for Yarn Trail. I'm very, very happy with how it's looking. I struggled with gauge at the beginning of this one. It just was really open and loose and looking really sloppy, and so I ripped back. I think I ended up ripping back twice, which is why I'm noticeably behind. Also, impulse cast-ons. That's also why I'm noticeably behind. But I'm almost done with this chart and will be, by the end of today, separated for sleeves. So, yes. This is the colorway Wilkie, and then French Roast is my contrast. And it's going to get faded. So my background color is going to slowly shift.
It's going to look so good.
Throughout. So I'm actually at a point where I need to, I think in another row or two, I'm going to start kind of alternating for this. So, yep. That'll be done pretty soon.
Yup. So then for DFW, I was like, I need because I finished my Swancho, all this other stuff. It's like, I need a simple, fairly mindless project to take with me so that I don't have to think too much or anything else, of course, because I'm like, I will cast on. Yeah, right. So we just started stocking the Modern Daily Knitting Field Guides, which, by the way, we have the last two. We have Grace, which is the new one with Hohi, and we have the Brioche one by Nancy Marchant, so 21 and 22, and we will be stocking the new ones as they come out. And we also, this is so difficult, have the skill set books. So if you're looking to teach someone to knit, especially this holiday season, that upcoming holiday season, that's a great option for that. So in the Grace field notes, there is this wrap on the back, the Quatro by Hohi. Everything in the book is by Hohi, and it's a 4-color sport to DK. It's listed as sport on Ravelry, but the yarn she uses is a DK. It is a lighter DK. I'm using sport. It's really up to you what you wanted to do. But this is my color palette. Again, are we surprised? Not really. So this is all Moondrake Soft Sport, which we stock in the colorways Light Sand, Toffee, Blue Slate, and Grim. And it's done in like 4 sections. So you do these triangles and then you Kitchener the triangles together. So it's going to be super fun, but it's very simple, just stockinette and garter stitch alternating. This would definitely be a great project for a newer knitter or someone like myself who just wanted a good mindless style knitting. There's like a nice little table inside the book of telling you like how many stitches at the end of each section, and so I've just been able to have a little post-it note and just mark my way down and do that. So been very nice for social knitting and evening knitting opportunities. I have one last stash acquisition. The very last day of the show, Becky, myself, and Kathy were walking around. I think Kathy and I saw this at the exact same time and both audibly gasped. And then
I can attest. They audibly gasped.
And then we both immediately snatched 4 skeins each and checked out. As you know, Hedgehog Fiber has their Tweety yarn, and they have done a collaboration with Madeline Tosh for Madeline Tosh to have an exclusive dyed Tweety base. And they actually, Mad Tosh had a booth, and they actually had some. I was shocked that they weren't sold out already, because I think online it's sold out. This is Future Reflections, which is the, I'll say, quote-unquote, blue Tweety.
Yep.
They also had a gorgeous, like, chartreuse, but like a very wearable chartreuse gold-green combo. I hate to use the word chartreuse because so many people are like, oh, that's too neon or whatever. It was not.
It was not a neon.
Very wearable green yellow. Gorgeous. Almost got that too, but you know, I had a tiniest bit of restraint. And so I snagged 4 skeins. This will either become a fortune cookie shawl, which is a free pattern from Beata Judzik of Hedgehog. Wrote it specifically for Tweety. It might become something else, but that's what my intent was. My intent is to knit the fortune cookie shawl either out of this or in original Tweety, which, segue, since we can't stock the blue Tweety, we do, however, stock the original Tweety and the Tweety Noir. and we grabbed a whole bunch of it to take to DFW. We did manage to come home with some of it. What we have is all we will have for the rest of the year, guys. So if you want it, snag it ASAP. I know there's less than 20 skeins of the Noir. I want to say we're under 30 skeins for the original. Act fast. There are so many good patterns now using the Tweety. You can easily substitute as well any pattern that calls for the Cory Confetti by La Bien-Aimée. It's a slightly different breed of sheep, but it's pretty much the same makeup and the same weight. Even though this is listed as DK and hers is listed as worsted, hers is a very light worsted, and this plumps up once you block it very nicely. So you're not just limited to something like Winter's Beach cardigan. If you're afraid of cables or don't want to do cables, there are lots and lots of patterns either in the worsted book, or there's the this Bird Knits did the In Between sweater, which is super fun. There's Beata has several free patterns using this as well, shawls and I think a sweater. Hiccups. Pretty much again, just about any DK weight pattern you could use this yarn for. So basic Raglan, the Jessie May Cozy Classic Raglan, I think would be a great option. You could do a minimalist tee out of this. You could do a Marseille sweater and stripe these two. Would be super cute. All sorts of different options. You could use this in a Ninilchik. Oh my gosh, you could do like a 2-color.
That'd be beautiful. That would be stunning if you were to find, I don't know if they're going to have extra on their website, Mad Tosh.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you did even just a 3-color and added in the chartreuse, I feel like that'd be almost akin to like a Grello.
And if
tone.
you can't, you could easily substitute some of the Moondrape tweed.
Yeah. Do we still have the Lichen?
Yep. That's what I'm grabbing. That and the Electric Berry.
Be beautiful. So pretty.
Guys, talk about a fun palette. So this is Electric Berry and this is Lichen. So Lichen is kind of, it's a little bit darker than what that other Mad Tosh one is. But even if you just did like those three, but honestly, do it. Do it. Snag these. I would use one of these as your main, either the Noir or the Tweety, the original, and then pop it with the other colors.
Yeah.
So, I know we're getting close to opening here in a minute, but you got more yarn.
I got more yarn.
Do it.
Yeah, these were both Sunday purchases. I had tried on Saturday to go and visit Hedgehog Fiber's booth, but it was just, there was a ton of folks over there, and so I was like, I'll come back. And I did. I came back. And up at the front of her booth, when I went the first time, I was able to kind of see the wool and cotton base that she had. It's a fingering weight wool cotton blend, and having just finished the Easy V using a wool cotton blend, I was like, I really like this, especially like wearing it that Friday. I was like, okay, this is delightful. I picked up 2 skeins of lavender tea on her wool plus cotton base. It's, yep, superwash merino and cotton together. It's lovely purples and browns. Basically, again, the colors may illuminate that I'm wearing. I don't necessarily have a specific project for this, but both Victoria at Wanderluck and Suburban Stitcher, who saw this when I was carrying it around going to pick up that sport weight, were like, the outline would be really pretty. So an outline tee might be what happens here, and I might play around. I really like the look of the outline sweater also, which I think was done out of a sport. But we'll see.
Definitely.
Might play around and see if I can't get close to gauge with this. So we got that. And then Silly Goose, which is at the end of our aisle, and so I kept walking by her yarn every time I went to like go around the vendor hall. And so I finally was like, okay, I have to stop. This is Autumn Leaves. Really pretty soft beigey color with lots of speckles. some greens, yellows, oranges, browns. I have a skein of Red Stag. This was with a specific project. I have a skein of Red Stag, Castle Surrey, and Gilded that's been in my stash for years. And I think it's this week. S-Knits or Sarah Opie is getting ready to release a new shawl pattern that has a big, like, really beautiful Surrey intarsia moon in the center of it. So I think that might be what this becomes.
That'd be pretty.
So that's my acquisitions.
Just watching our time.
Yeah.
We have brought back what, obviously, we didn't leave it there. We brought back what we took to DFW that we didn't sell out. So that means we've got the custom color from Chelsea Luxe, DK, single ply. And of course, we brought back some of the colors of single ply. We do have some limited stock of the Cozy DK that also came back with us. So look for that on our website. Everything is now live back on the website, especially by the time you're seeing this. We should have uploaded any straggling photographs and all that fun stuff. We also were able to snag Shelter by Brooklyn Tweed. You guys is super out of stock from them. But I was able to talk with Mitch, my guy at Brooklyn Tweed, and we got a restock of 4 colors. So we got in Bale, Snowbound, Plume, and Tartan. He said that Shelter is probably not going to be restocked for us to even purchase it potentially this year. It could be not until January, February. So what we have of Shelter and tones is what we have. I did also, though, get a notification, though, that we should be getting some of our back-ordered tones from the original order last January. Some of that is now actually finally going to be able to ship in a month to 2 months from now. I know.
Yep.
It's crazy. For the most part, yarn companies have been able to really pivot really well with supply chain. I feel like we're starting to hit that spot where certain things are just not.
Yeah.
They are what they are. And that's what we're going to have to deal with. And it's fine.
Yeah.
We can work around it. So we've got those colors of Shelter plus a few others. And then we were also able to bring the thread and maple leather notions with us. So we have the tiny little scissor clutches, the little notions. What are these? These aren't the notion pouches.
It's
these
on the go.
On the go kit, I think.
Yeah.
Or on the go pouch.
It's on the go something.
And it's like a needle, stitch markers, little zipper thing, scissors. And we also have the cork trays, which these are really nice. I really like this on your tabletop or your craft table. This just comes in one color. These comes in multiple colors. And then the Notions clutch. So this is the Notions clutch. Comes in I think 4 or 5 different colors. It is genuine leather. Of course, all thread and maple items are handmade in the Ukraine. So they just got back in, not business, but they were able to safely reopen their facilities in the Ukraine and start production again. So we're very, very happy that we can be, in a small way, helping out people that live in Ukraine by giving them jobs that they can safely get to and sell their beautiful handmade products. So Notions, this is the Notions clutch, and it is available in several different colors. It comes with all the fun things like the stitch markers, the scissors, the tape measure, the needles, all that kind of stuff. So it comes fully stocked. Also in a nice dust cover, and the leather will just patina with touch and age, and it's just going to be gorgeous. So yes, we have reached the end.
We always have this mound of stuff that accumulates on the table. And so
yes, so I'm trying not to get emotional right now, so just bear with me. It's been very fun having you here.
Thanks.
I'm not gonna cry, dang it.
Yep. for letting me join the podcast, y'all. Because I feel like that's it's been a fun, goofy shenanigan through and through.
Don't worry. I'll still be here with lots of goofy shenanigans on my own.
Yes.
I'm also thinking about trying to have like some special guests on the podcast. We haven't seen Josh on the podcast in many years, literally. So might see if I can wrangle him onto one or two. Not more than that, though. He doesn't have any knitting content to bring. So, yeah. It's been fun.
Yes.
And like I said, this isn't the end of the podcast or anything like that. Maybe we just need to convince you to start your own podcast.
Well, I'm not lying. I thought about it. Especially this morning getting ready. I was like, I'm not going to do the podcast anymore. Should I start a podcast?
Yes.
So we'll see. I think I'm not going to rush into that because, moving states and new jobs and all the things.
Yes.
So
you have a little
I'll tackle that first.
On your plate.
Yeah.
But maybe soon.
But definitely I'll still be posting all of the tests and things on Instagram.
Yes.
So
we will look forward to watching vicariously all the knits now with mountain backgrounds. When you post them. Hopefully. There better be some mountain backgrounds. Seriously.
Oh, yeah. There's got to be.
So.
I'm going to have to. It's one of those things. I've been living out. So the camp I worked at, I've been living out there while I've been working at the shop. And so I've had the really nice opportunity to go and, be in the, outdoors to take, finished object photos. I'm going to have to go. As I move into an apartment complex, go find myself a good, good backdrop somewhere.
Find a park somewhere.
Find a nice park.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yay. So, yeah. We'll see you next. I will see you next time on the podcast.
Yes.
I do hope you continue to watch.
Yeah. I will be on the other side of it.
Yes. And I hope all of you guys continue to watch as well. Don't worry. I'll still be showing up with all my shenanigans for sure. Yes. And I just got to knit faster, knit more things, keep up with all the content. So next podcast I do know will be filled with MCowl.
Oh, yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Guaranteed. So, in fact, this morning I was like, I think I need to change my colors. It always happens.
Probably what we're going to go look at as soon as we're done filming.
It always happens.
We'll open the shop and look at that.
A week before. It just does. So thanks so much for tuning in. I do hope that you will continue to watch and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Get notifications and look forward to the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.